The Grove Performing Arts League presents the play Love Notes, tracing the lifelong correspondence of the lawyer Andrew Ladd II and the lively, unstable Melissa Gardner. The story unfolds the bittersweet relationship through their letters. Stay tuned for the surprise ending, guaranteed to tug at your heart and give you a new perspective on what's really important in life.
Andrew M. Ladd III accepts with pleasure the kind invitation of Mr. and Mrs. Gilbert Channing Gardner for a birthday party in honor of their daughter Melissa on April 19th, 1937 at 3:30.
Dear Andy, thank you for the birthday present. I have a lot of Oz books, but not The Lost Princess of Oz. What made you give me that one? Sincerely yours, Melissa.
I'm answering your letter about the book. When you came into second grade with that stuck-up nurse, you looked like a lost princess.
I don't believe what you wrote. I think my mother told your mother to get that book. I like the pictures more than the words. Now let's stop writing letters.
Will you be my Valentine?
Were you the one who sent me a Valentine saying, "Will you be my Valentine?"
Yes, I sent it.
Then I will be, unless I have to kiss you.
Will you help me go down and get milk and cookies during recess?
I will if you don't ask me to marry you again. I will not write personal notes in class.
I will not write personal notes in class. Thank you for sending me the cactus plant stuck in the little donkey. I've gotten lots of presents here in the hospital, and I have to write thank you notes for everyone. I hate it here. My throat is sore all the time from where they cut out my tonsils. They give me lots of ice cream, but they also take my temperature the wrong way.
Merry Christmas and Happy New Year. Why did they send you to another school this year?
They thought an all-boys school would be less of a distraction. Dear Melissa, remember me, Andy Ladd. They've sent me to camp so I can be with all boys again. This is quiet hour, so we have to write home, but I've already done that, so I'm writing you. There's a real Indian here named Iron Crow who takes us on nature walks and teaches us 6 new plants every day.
Help! Eeks! Yipes! I can't write letters. It took me hours just to write Dear Andy. I write my father because I miss him so much. But to write a boy? Oh, hell's bells and oriental smells. I'm sending you this picture I drew of our cat instead.
I like the cat. Is that the cat you threw in the pool that time when we were playing over at your house in 3rd grade?
No, that was a different cat entirely.
Andrew M. Ladd III accepts with pleasure the kind invitation of Mrs. R. Ferguson Brown for a dinner in honor of her granddaughter, Melissa Gardner, before the Children's Charity Ball.
I'm writing this letter because I'm scared if I called you up, I'd start crying right on the telephone. I'm really mad at you, Andy. Don't you know that when you're invited to a dinner before a dance, you're supposed to dance with the person giving it at least twice? And I don't mean my grandmother either. That's why they give dinner parties, so people get danced with. I noticed you danced with Ginny Waters, but you never danced with me once. I just think it's rude, that's all. Straighten up and fly right, Andy. How do you expect to get anywhere in life if you're rude to women? Nuts to you, Andy, and that goes double on Sunday.
I didn't dance with you because I've got a stretched groin. If you don't know what that means, look it up sometime. I was going to tell you in person, but I got embarrassed. I stretched it playing hockey last week. The only reason I danced with Ginny Waters is she takes tiny steps. But you always make me do those big spins, and we could have gotten into serious trouble. I tried it out at home with my mother first, and it hurt like hell. That's why I didn't dance with you. I'm using a heating pad now, and maybe we can dance next week at the junior assemblies.
I don't believe that hockey stuff. I think Ginny Waters stretched your groin. And the next time you cut in, I'm going to stretch the other one.
Huh? You obviously don't know what a groin is.
You obviously don't know what a joke is. Merry Christmas and Happy New Year. Guess what? I'm going to a psychiatrist now. My mother says it will do me a world of good. Don't tell anyone, though. It's supposed to be a big secret.
Merry Christmas and Happy New Year. I have a question, and would you please write the answer by mail? Because sometimes when you call, my mother listens on the telephone. And when she doesn't, my little brother does. Here's the question. Do you talk about sex with the psychiatrist?
I talk about sex all the time. It's terribly expensive, but I think it's worth it.
If I went to a psychiatrist, I'd talk about you. Seriously, I would. I think about you quite often.
Sometimes I think you like me because I'm richer than you are. Sometimes I really have that feeling. I think you like the pool and the elevator in my grandmother's house, and Simpson in his butler's coat coming in with ginger ale and cookies on a silver tray. I think you like all that stuff just as much as you like me.
All I know is my mother keeps saying you'd make a good match. She says if I ever married you, I'd be set up for life. But I think it's really just physical attraction. That's why I like going in the elevator with you at your grandmother's that time. Wanna try it again?
Help! Let me out of here! They shipped me off to this nunnery. It's the end of the absolute world. We have to wear these sappy midi blouses and learn posture in gym and speak French out loud in class. Oh, come save me, Andy. Or at least write, just so I hear a boy's voice, even on paper.
Just got your letter. They shipped me off too. Last minute decision. Your mother told my mother it would do me good. She said I was a diamond in the rough. I'll write as soon as I'm smoother.
Dear Diamond, you too? Oh, I give up. Why do they keep pushing us together, then pulling us apart? I think we're all being brought up by a bunch of foolish farts. Now we'll have to write letters, which I'd hate. But don't let them smooth you out, Auntie. I like the rough parts. In fact, sometimes I think you ought to be a little rougher. Love me.
Can we at least go to the movies together during spring vacation?
I don't know, Andy. I liked seeing you, but I don't want to go home much anymore. My mother gets drunk a lot. So in spring, I'll be visiting my father in California. I haven't seen him in 4 years. He has a new wife, and I have 2 new half-sisters now. It's like going to find a whole new family. Oh, I hope.
Write me about California. How's your new family?
I don't want to talk about California. Ever. For a while I thought I had 2 families, but now I know I really don't have any. You're very lucky, Andy. You don't know it, but you are.
Dear Melissa, I have 4 questions, so please concentrate. 1, will you come up to the midwinter dance? 2, if so, can you arrive on the 11:22 Friday night train? 3, does the rector's wife have to write your headmistress telling her where you'll be staying? And 4, does the rector's wife also have to write your mother?
The answer is yes, except for my mother, who won't care.
I have to tell you this right off the bat. I am really goddamn mad at you. I invite you up here for the only dance my class has been able to go to since we got here. I meet you at the train and buy you a vanilla milkshake and bring you out to school in a taxi. I scored 2 goals for you during the hockey game the next afternoon. I buy you the $8 gardenia corsage. I make sure your dance card is filled with the most regular guys in school. And then what happens? I now hear you sneaked off with Bob Bartram during the Vienna Waltz and necked with him in the coat room. I heard that from 2 guys. And then Bob himself brought it up yesterday at breakfast. He says he French kissed you and touched both your breasts. I tried to punch him, but Mr. Anybody restrained me. I'm really sore, Melissa. I consider this a betrayal of everything I hold near and dear, particularly since you would hardly let me kiss you goodnight after we had cocoa at the rector's. And you know what I'm talking about, too. So don't expect any more letters from me or any telephone calls either during spring vacation. Sincerely yours.
Sorry. I am. I hate that Bob Bartram. I hated him even when I necked with him. I know you won't believe that, but it's true. You can be attracted to someone you hate. Well, maybe you can't, but I can. So, all right, I necked with him, but he never touched my breast. And if he says he did, he should be strung up by his testicles. You tell him that for me at breakfast. Anyways, I got carried away, Andy, and I'm a stupid bitch, and I'm sorry. I felt so guilty about it that I didn't want to kiss you after the cocoa. And besides, Andy, how do I say this? With you, it's different. You're like a friend to me. You're like a brother. I've never had a brother, and I don't have too many friends, so you're both, Andy. You're it. My mother says you must never say that to a man, but I'm saying it anyway, and it's true. Maybe if I didn't know you so well, maybe if I hadn't grown up with you, maybe if we hadn't written all these goddamn letters all the time, I could have kissed you the way I kissed Bob Bartram. Oh, but please let's see each other over spring vacation, please. I count on you, Andy. I need you. I think sometimes I'd go stark raving mad if I didn't have you to hold on to. I really think that sometimes. Much love. Here I am at Emma Woodlard's Academy for Young Lesbians. Help! Let me out of here. Plus, gotta change, plus say like same shit. Are you coming straight home this June? Because I am. I want to see you. Are you still in love with Gretchen Lascelles? I hope to see you in June then.
Can't come home in June. Sorry. I have to go be a counselor at the school camp for poor children from urban slums. I'm vice president of my class now, and I am supposed to set an example all through July. I'll be writing your letters, though, and I hope you'll write me.
I don't want to write letters all the time. I really don't. I want to see you.
You just need more confidence in your letter-writing ability. Sometimes you manage to attain a very vivid style.
Won't you please just stop writing about writing and come home and go to the Campbell sports party before you go up to that stupid camp? Please. I'd behave better when you're around. In person. Please. I miss you. I really wish you had come to the Campbell sports party.
Dear Melissa, Sandy McCarthy arrived from home for the second shift here at camp, and he told me all about the Campbell sports party. He said you wore a 2-piece bathing suit and ran around goosing girls and pushing boys into the pool. Do you enjoy that sort of crap? He said the other girls were furious at you. Don't you want the respect of other women? Sandy also said you let Bucky Zeller put a tennis ball in your cleavage. Are you a nympho or what? Don't you ever just like sitting down somewhere and making conversation? Sandy says you're turning into a hot box. Do you like having that reputation? Hell! I thought there was a difference between you and Gretchen Lascelles. Maybe I was wrong. Don't you care about anything in this world except hacking around? Don't you feel any obligation to help poor people? For example, sometimes I think your big problem is you're so rich, you don't have enough to do, so you start playing grab ass with people. I'm sorry to say these things, but what Sandy told me made me slightly disgusted. Frankly, I wrote you a letter from New Hampshire. Did you receive it? Are you there, or are you visiting your grandmother, or what? Are you sore at me? I'll bet you're sore at me. I'm sorry. I apologize. I am a stuffy bastard sometimes, aren't I? The hell with you then.
Ooh, big tough Andy using four-letter words like hell.
Screw you.
Ah, don't you wish you could?
Everyone else seems to be.
Don't believe everything you read in the papers. Dear Andrew M. Ladd III, I just want you to know you hurt me very much. I just want you to know that. Now let's leave each other alone for a while, all right? All right.
Congratulations on getting into Briarcliff. I hear it's great.
Thank you for your note about Briarcliff. It's not great, and you know it. In fact, it's a total pit. But it's closer to New York, and I can take the train in and take drawing at the Institute 3 days a week. And in 2 years, if I stick it out, Mummy's promised that I can go live in Florence. I hope you like Yale.
Would you consider coming to the Yale-Dartmouth game Saturday, October 28th?
I'll be there.
Uh-oh. Damn. I'm sorry, Melissa. I have to cancel. My parents have decided to visit that weekend, and they come first, according to them. How about the Harvard game, November 16th?
Do you plan on growing up at the Harvard game?
Give me a chance. I might surprise you.
Okay, let's give it a try. You should know that I'm even richer now than when you said I was rich, thanks to poor Granny. She passed away last month. I plan to drive up to the front gate of Calhoun College in my new red Chrysler convertible and sit there stark naked, honking my horn and drinking champagne and flashing at all the freshmen. Dear Andy, this is supposed to be a thank you note for the Yale-Harvard weekend, but I don't feel like writing one, and I think you know why. Love, Melissa.
Dear Melissa, I keep thinking about the weekend. I can't get it out of my mind. It wasn't much good, was it? I don't mean just the Hotel Duncan. I mean the whole thing. We really didn't click, did we? I always had the sense that you were looking over my shoulder, looking for someone else. And ditto with me. Both of us seemed to be expecting something different from what was there. As for the Hotel Duncan, I don't know. Maybe I had too many sea breezes. Maybe you did. But what I really think is that there were too many other people in that hotel room besides you and me. It seemed like my mother was there egging us on, and my father shaking his head, and your mother zonked out on the couch, and Miss Hawthorne and your grandmother sitting on the sidelines watching us like hawks. Anyway, I was a dud. I admit it. I'm sorry. I went to the infirmary on Monday and talked to the doctor about it. And he said these things happen all the time, particularly when there's a lot of pressure involved. The woman doesn't have to worry about it so much, but the man does. Anyway, it didn't happen that way with Gretchen Lascelles. You can write her and ask if you want.
You know what I think is wrong? These letters. These goddamn letters. That's what's wrong with us, in my humble opinion. I know you more from your letters than I do in person. Maybe that's why I was looking over your shoulder. I was looking for the person who's been in these letters all these years. Or for the person who's not in these letters. I don't know. All I know is you're not quite the same when I see you, Andy. You're really not. I'm not saying you're a jerk in person. I'm not saying that at all. I'm just saying that all this letter writing has messed us up. It's a bad habit. It's made us seem like people we're not. So maybe what was wrong is that there were two people missing in the Hotel Duncan that night. Namely, the real you and the real me.
Whatever the matter is, we're in real trouble, you and me. That I realize. So now, what do we do about it? Maybe we should just concentrate on dancing together. Then we can still hold each other and move together and get very subtly sexy with each other and not have to deliver the goods all the time, if you know what I mean. Come to think of it, maybe that's why they sent us to dancing school in the first place. Maybe that's why dancing was invented.
At least we should stop writing letters for a while. You could start telephoning me, actually. Here's our dorm number. Wilson 12486.
I hate talking to you on the telephone. Yours is in the hall and ours is right by the college dining room. People are always coming and going and making cracks. Telephoning is not letter writing at all.
I called the telephone company and they put in a private phone in my room. Rogers 22403. It's sort of expensive, but at least we can talk.
The reason I'm writing is your phone is always busy, or else ours is, and I can't afford a private one. Maybe we should just start writing letters again.
No letters, please. Now order that telephone. I'll lend you the dough. Just think about it. You can talk back and forth and hear someone's real voice and get to know someone in life rather than on writing paper, for God's sakes. Now get that phone, please.
I'm writing because when I telephoned, you just hung up on me. One thing about letters, though, you can't hang up on them.
You can tear up letters, though. Enclosed are the pieces. Send them to Angela Atkinson at Sarah Lawrence.
What the hell is the matter?
I hear you're now writing long letters twice a week to Angela Atkinson. That's what's the matter.
Okay, here goes. The reason I'm writing Angie Atkinson is because I just don't think I can stop writing letters, particularly to girls. As I told you before, in some ways, I feel most alive when I'm holed up in some corner writing things down. I pick up a pen, and almost immediately everything seems to take shape around me. I love to write. I love writing my parents, because then I become the ideal son. I love writing essays for English, because then I am, for a short while, a true scholar. I love writing. I feel like a true lover when I'm writing you. Now, can I come up and see you next weekend? I promise I'll give you a better time.
Dear Andy, guess what? Right while I was reading your letter, Jack Duffield telephoned from Elmhurst and asked me for a weekend up there. So I said yes before I got to where you asked me.
Dear Melissa, somehow I don't think this is the end. It could be, but I don't think it is. At least I hope it isn't.
Hey, you! Look where I am, in Florence. Oops, I mean Firenze. I love it.
What are you doing in Florence?
I'm painting, among other things.
Good luck on the painting. Go slow on the other things. Merry Christmas.
Felicity Navidad from Costa del Sol.
Happy birthday from Sterling Library.
Here he graduated summa cum laude and all sorts of prizes. Sounds disgusting.
Anchors away. Here I am looking like Henry Fonda and Mr. Roberts, writing this during the mid-watch on the bridge of my giant attack aircraft carrier.
I should have known you would join the Navy. Now you can once again be with all the boys.
Konnichiwa! Ohayo gozaimasu! Shore duty in Japan.
Did you get my letter? You're so far away and your Navy address is so peculiar that I'm not sure I'm reaching you. I hear you're seriously involved with a lovely Japanese lady. Would you write me about her? I told my psychiatrist about the great love affair you're having in Japan. I said suddenly felt terribly jealous. Did you get my last letter? Actually, I've just become involved with someone too. His first name is Darwin, and he works on Wall Street, where he believes in the survivor of the fittest. I'd love to hear from you. Your mother told my mother that you've decided to marry your Japanese friend and bring her home. Oh no, yes, I say it isn't so. I've decided to marry Darwin. He doesn't know it yet, but he will. Won't you at least wish me good luck?
Lieutenant Junior Grade Andrew M. Ladd regrets that he is unable to accept the kind wedding invitation of...
Dear Andy, thank you for the lovely Japanese bowl. I'll put flowers in it when you come to visit us. If you come. You'll just bring your Japanese war bride, we can all sit around and discuss Rashomon, and I know you'll like Darwin. When he laughs, it's like Pinocchio turning into a donkey. We're living in a carriage house in New Canaan, close to the train station, and I've got a studio all of my own. P.S. Won't you please write me about your big romance? Mother says your parents won't even talk about it anymore.
Dear Melissa, I'm writing to tell you this. Outside of you, and I mean only outside of you, she was probably the most important thing that ever happened to me. And I mean was. Because it's over. It's gone. And I'm coming home. And that's all I ever want to say about it ever again.
Mr. and Mrs. Darwin H. Cobb announced the birth of their daughter Francesca.
Many congratulations on the baby.
Harvard Law School yet? Aren't you getting all stuffy and self-important?
As you know, I've always liked to write letters. I decided I might do better trying to write laws, which, after all, are the letters that civilization writes to itself.
Yes, you are getting all stuffy and self-important. Come have a drink with us sometime. We're right on the way to New York, and sooner or later, everyone comes to New York. Here you made law review, whatever that means. I assume you review laws. I wish you'd review some of the marriage laws.
Just a quick note. Are you in any trouble? Congratulations on baby number 2.
Merry Christmas. I'm enclosing a snapshot Mother took of me and the girls. Don't I look domestic? Stop looking at my hair. By the way, you'll notice you know who is not in the picture.
Thanks for the Christmas card. Are you in any trouble?
Greetings from Reno. Could I stop by Washington on the way back east?
Let me know when you're coming. You can meet Jane.
Jane?
I'm going out with a great girl named Jane.
Melissa Gardner Cobb regrets that she will be unable to accept the kind invitation of...
Dear Melissa, had to add my 2 cents worth to Jane's thank you note for the wedding present. Guess who is jealously peeking over my shoulder to make sure this isn't a love letter? First of all, thanks for the present, whatever it was. Ah ha! A tray, hand-painted by you, I bet. Anyway, thank you. Heard you weren't feeling well. Sent you flowers a while back. Did you receive them?
Dear Andy, yes, I'm all right. Yes, I got your flowers. Yes, I'm fine. No, actually, I'm not fine. And they tell me I've got to stop running around saying I am. I'm here at this posh joint outside Bonding in Boston, trying out for $150 a day. One of my problems is that I got slightly too dependent on the Kickapoo Joy Juice, a habit which they tell me I picked up during the party days back in our town. Another is that I slide into these terrible lows. Mummy says I drag everybody down, and I guess she's right. Anyway, the result is that my ex has taken over custody of the girls, and I'm holed up here, popping tranquilizers, talking my head off in single and group psychiatric sessions, and turning into probably the biggest bore in the greater Boston area.
Have you thought about painting again? Donald Rhodes and McAllister announced the partnership of Mr. Andrew M. Ladd III.
Now that you're a big shot lawyer, can you help me get my children back?
Better stay out of this one. Our past connections could be a conflict of interest.
Mother wrote you won some important election for the Republicans. I love all politicians, but I find Democrats better in bed.
Well, I'm a liberal Republican with a strong commitment towards women's rights. Does that count?
Depends on your position. Paintings and drawings by Melissa Gardner, The Hastings Gallery, 422 Broadway, March 18th through April 30th. Opening reception, March 20th, 6 to 8 p.m. Note I've gone back to my maiden name. That's a laugh.
Got your announcement for your new show. Good luck. P.S. I'd love to have one of your paintings. We could use a little excitement on our living room walls. Seriously, what would one cost?
Come to the show and find out.
Never made your show. Sorry. Things came up.
Actually, it's just as well. I'm going through what the critics call an anarchistic phase. Dear Andy, if I ever get another one of those drippy Xerox Christmas letters from you, I think I'll invite myself out to your ducky little house for dinner. And when you're all sitting there eating terribly healthy food and discussing terribly important things, and generally congratulating yourselves on all of your accomplishments, I think I'll stand up on my chair, turn around, and moon the whole fucking family.
You're right. It was a smug, dumb letter, and I apologize. Jane normally writes it, and it sounds better when she does. I always felt better writing to just one person at a time, such as to you. I guess what I'm really saying is, as far as my family is concerned, we're all managing to hold our heads above water in this tricky world. Jane and I have had our problems, but we're comfortable with each other now. And the boys, for the moment, are out of trouble. Nicky seems to be off drugs now, and Ted's getting help on his stammer. Porgy Jr., my old Cocker Spaniel, died, and I miss him too much to get a replacement. I'm thinking of running for Senate next fall if O'Hara retires. What do you think? I'd really like your opinion. If you decide to answer this, you might write care of my office address. Jane has a slight tendency towards melodrama, particularly after she got a hold of your last little note.
The Senate yet? I should have known. Oh, Andy, just think. Once again, you can be with all boys. Oh, hell, go for it if you want. You'll be an image of righteousness and rectitude in our God-forsaken land. Greetings from Silver Hill. Slight regression in the liquor department. They say it's in the genes. Lord knows my mother has the problem, but my father too in the end. Anyway, I'm working on it. Darwin is being a real shit about the girls. He's cut down on my visitation rights, so when you get to Washington, I want you to write a special law about vindictive ex-husbands.
Don't be so hard on yourself. Get back to your art. You are really good.
I'll try.
Season's greetings from the Ladd family.
Season's greetings indeed. Is that all you can say to me after 40 years? I'm warning you, Andy. Keep this shit up and I swear I'll come down and moon the whole Senate.
Sorry, my staff sent that out. Merry Christmas, old friend. How are you? Where are you these days?
Living in New York, alone for a change. But the question is not where am I, but who am I?
Well, Merry Christmas from all of us.
Saw you on 60 Minutes. You looked fabulous. Keep your eye on the ball.
Thank you for the card. What ball?
The ball is that money doesn't solve everything. It helps, but not as much as people think. Take it from one who knows. That's the ball.
Merry Christmas and love. What are you up to these days?
I'm trying to work with clay. Remember that kind of clay we used in Mrs. Mickler's art class in 4th grade? That old gray stuff? We called it plasticine. I'm trying to work with that. I'm making cats, dogs, even made a kangaroo jumping over a glass of orange juice. Remember that? I'm trying to get back to some of those old feelings I had back in the homeland. I have to find feelings, any feelings, otherwise I'm dead. Come down and help me search. I have a studio down in Soho Land. We could, at least we could have dinner and talk about old times. Couldn't we, Senator Ladd?
A quick note on the way to the airport. When you write, put attention Miss Walpole on the envelope. She's my private secretary. I've alerted her, and she'll pass your letters directly to me. Otherwise, the whole office staff seems to get a peek. In haste.
I'm having a show opening January 28th through February 25th. Won't you come? I'd love to have you see what I've been up to. Maybe it will ring a few old bells.
Can't make it, sorry. I'll be on an official visit to the Philippines most of February. And then a week's spring skiing. How did the show go? I haven't heard from you.
The show stank. The crowd hated it, the critics hated it, I hated it. It was nostalgic shit. You can't go home again, you can quote me on that. I'm turning to photography now. Realism, that's my bag. The present tense. Look at the modern world squarely in the face and don't blink. Oh, Andy, couldn't I see you? You're all I have left.
I'll be in New York next Tuesday the 19th. Have to make a fundraising speech at a dinner. I could stop by your place afterwards.
I'll be there all evening.
Red roses this time. I think you know what they mean.
All I know is that after last night, I want to see you again.
I'm sorry I've taken so long to reply. I had to go upstate and mend a few fences. Darling, I have to ask you not to telephone the office. Every call has to be logged in, and most of them get screened by these eager college interns who love to rush back to Cambridge and New Haven and announce to their classmates, Senator Ladd is shacking up on the side. The phones simply are not secure. I will be stopping through a week from next.
Did you ever dream we'd be so good at sex?
Two uptight wasps, going at it like a sale at Brooks Brothers.
I figure 50 years went into last night.
Let's go for 100.
Oh my God, come again. Soon, sooner.
I'm already making plans.
I have to go to San Francisco to visit the girls. Couldn't we meet somewhere on the way?
I don't see how we can possibly go public.
Oh, some country inn, some deliciously seedy motel.
I just don't see how.
Can't I see you more than for just a few hours?
The price we have to pay.
I'm getting so I think about nothing but how we can.
I'm not sure I can change my whole life so radically.
Other politicians have gotten divorced. Rockefeller, Reagan.
Jane, the children, my particular constituency.
You've become the center of my life. If you left, I don't think I could.
Because of the coming election, I just don't see how we can.
I need you, Andy. You're my anchor man these days. Without you, I'm not sure I can.
Hold on now, just hold on. I'll be there next Thursday.
Where were you? I waited 3 hours, hoping that you'd at least call.
Please, don't telephone. Mrs. Walpole was sick that day and...
I haven't seen you in over a month now.
The coming election.
Surely you could take some time out to...
If I want to be re-elected,
I need you. I need to be with you. I don't know if I can.
The election. The election. The election.
I haven't heard from you in 6 weeks. Are you trying to tell me something, Andy? Congratulations on landslide victory. Love, Melissa.
Could we meet at your place next Sunday night?
Oh, thank God.
I meant that we have to talk, Melissa.
Uh-oh. Talk. I'm scared of talk. In fact, I dread it.
Dearest Melissa, are you all right? That was a heavy scene last Sunday, but I know I'm right. We've got to go one way or the other, and the other leads nowhere. I know I sound like a stuffy prick, but I do feel I have a responsibility to Jane, the boys, and now, after the election, to my constituency, which had enough faith and trust in me to vote me back in, despite all that crap in the newspapers about us. And it wouldn't work with us anyway in the long run, sweetheart. We're too old. We're carrying too much old baggage on our backs. We'd last about a week if we got married. But we can still write letters, darling. We can always do that. Letters are still our strength and our salvation. Mrs. Walpole is still with us, and there's no reason why we cannot continue to keep in touch with each other in this wonderful old way. I count on your letters, darling. I always have, and I hope you will count on mine. Are you there? I keep putting please forward on the envelopes, but who knows?
Andy lad, is that you? Blow-dried and custom-tailored and jogging trim at 55. Hiding behind that lovely wife with her heels together and her hands folded discreetly over her snatch? And is that your new dog, Andy? I see you graduated to a golden retriever. And are those your sons and heirs? And how? Is that a grandchild nestled in someone's arms? God, Andy, you look like the Holy Family. Season's greetings and happy holidays and even Merry Christmas, Senator Ladd. We who are about to die salute you.
What's this about to die stuff? Now I've even resorted to the telephone. I need to hear from you. All I get from you is your damned machine. Dear Mrs. Gardner, I seem to have lost touch with Melissa again. I wonder if you might send me her latest address. Dear Melissa, your mother wrote that you'd return to the land of Oz. I'm flying up next Thursday to see you.
No, please don't. Please stay away. I've let myself go. I'm fat, I'm ugly, my hair is horrible. I'm locked in at the funny farm all week, and then Mother gets me weekends if I'm good. They've put me on all sorts of new drugs, and half the time I don't make sense at all. I can't even do finger painting now without fucking it up. My girls won't even talk to me on the telephone now. They say I upset them too much. Oh, I've made a mess of things, Andy. I've made a total ghastly mess. I don't like life anymore. I hate it. Sometimes I think that if you and I had just, oh, but just stay away, Andy, please.
Arriving Saturday morning, we'll meet you at your mother's.
No, I don't want to see you. I won't be there. I'll be gone, Andy. I swear I'll be gone.
Dear Mrs. Gardner, I think the first letter I ever wrote was to you, accepting an invitation for Melissa's birthday party. Now I'm writing you again about her death. I want to say a few things on paper I could not say at her funeral, both when I spoke and when you and I talked afterwards. As you may know, Melissa and I managed to keep in touch with each other most of our lives, primarily through letters. Even now, as I write this letter to you, I feel I'm writing it also to her.
Ah, you're in your element now, Andy.
We had a complicated relationship, she and I, all our lives. We went in different directions, but somehow, over those years, I think we managed to give something to each other. Melissa expressed all the dangerous and rebellious feelings I never dared admit to.
Now he tells me.
And I like to think I gave her some sense of balance.
Balance? Oh, hell, I give up. Have it your way, Andy. Balance.
Most of the things I did in life, I did with her partly in mind. And if I said or did an inauthentic thing, I could almost hear her groaning over my shoulder. But now, she's gone. And I really don't know how I'm going to get along without her.
You'll survive, Andy.
I have a wonderful wife, fine children, and a place in the world I feel proud of. But the death of Melissa suddenly leaves a huge gap in my life.
Oh, now, Andy.
The thought of never again being able to write to her, to connect to her, to get some signal back from her, fills me with an emptiness which is hard to describe.
Now, Andy, stop.
I don't think there are many men in this world who have had the benefit of such a friendship with such a woman. But it was more than friendship, too. I know now that I loved her. I loved her from the day I met her, when she walked into second grade, looking like the lost princess of Oz.
Oh, Andy, please. I can't bear it.
I don't think I've ever loved anyone the way I loved her, and I know I never will again. She was at the heart of my life, and already I miss her desperately. I just wanted to say this to you and to her. Sincerely, Andy Ladd.
Thank you, Andy.